I honestly don't know a whole lot about the history of the mission itself or the boundaries of the wards or anything like that. I know Michigan is predominantly Anglo-Saxon, so mostly English-speaking missionaries, and then you also have a lot of there are a few places where there's a heavier Hispanic demographic, and so there were a lot of Hispanic or Spanish-speaking missionaries as well. I served in a companionship once where my companion was from Tijuana, Mexico, and I'm obviously not. And so he spoke Spanish, or he taught people who spoke Spanish as their first language, and I spoke mostly with people who speak English, and that was in Sturgis, Michigan. I think it's like 30% Hispanic down there or something, which is surprising in the North Midwest. But yeah, and then there's the Detroit Temple that everybody usually goes to. It's kind of cool because in Utah, again, to draw a comparison, in Utah we have a lot of LDS temples to do temple work in, whereas in Michigan, it's cool how for the people there, it's I guess more of a novelty to go visit a temple just because it's a longer drive. And prior to the Detroit temple, I think they would actually have to go to the Washington D.C. temple. So it's kind of cool to see the faith of people that are willing to go that far to do temple work. It was just Michigan, like the northern half of Michigan. I served in a lot of coastal towns, which was really cool, and it was kind of something I was looking forward to. Fun fact, Michigan has the greatest number of lighthouses of any state in America, which is kind of neat. And I actually got to see a few really neat lighthouses on my mission, take some cool pictures. Obviously, the weather is pretty extreme there. Like during the summer, it's very humid, which is different than Utah. And riding around in a bike with a suit on or with like even a white shirt on, you get pretty nasty and look pretty unflattering to the people that you knock into. However, during the winter, it's just the opposite. I remember I served in a place called Charlevoix, which is on an isthmus, which is like a narrow strip of land. The one that comes to mind is Istanbul in Turkey. It was between two huge lakes, and really cool little liberal town. A lot of little coffee shops and art galleries and things like that. And it would get to be about negative 20 degrees there in the mornings, which there's cold, and then there's negative 20 degrees cold, which is pretty astonishingly, awesomely cold, especially when your car breaks down right in the middle of a snowy street and you have to shovel yourself out at 6 in the morning. Not that that ever happened, but yeah, it happened. So yeah, that's kind of I guess a general feel of Michigan. I also served in Battle Creek, which is in the southern part of Michigan. It's funny because the southern part of Michigan has more of a Midwest feel. And like there's a lot of farming that goes on. However, the northern part of Michigan has more of feels more like Canada or something like that. It's heavily wooded, little towns everywhere, kind of Duck Dynasty-esque culture there. But in Sturgis, it was had more of an urban feel, had a lot of urban blight, I would say, a lot of foreclosed homes because of the economy and how Michigan was hit. And so it's interesting how much variety you have, or how much cultural differences you have across the state of Michigan.